What up, everybody? It is another edition of the Cruel Fan Sports Hour here with Ryan,
Dun, dun,
Whitney,
dun, dun.
Josh here. You can't do that copyright, man. Oh, my God. We're going to get sued so bad. Someone's going to sue us.
Yeah.
Someone's going to sue us. We got a lot to talk about. The first
No,
place
mine was
is...
dun 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 dun, not dun 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 dun.
See, it's not the same. All right,
It's
Vanilla
not-
Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, Vanilla Ice. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I'm once again in my car. Whitney's in his basement, as is Ryan.
Room.
Where are you?
I'm in my TV den.
Oh, TV den. I don't know
And
why
I'm
I
not
said
in my
basement.
I'm not in my basement. This is just a creative green screen behind me.
Oh, for real? That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a hell of an Eagles ball you got. Look at that John
Oh
Crump
yeah.
pennant back there. I love it.
Yep.
And that someone popped that Eagles.
I've
anyway.
had all this Eagles stuff since I was a young child.
That's right. You grew up conflicted. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do. All right.
All right. So, what'd you think of the Pats and Chiefs game?
Brian Hoyer is all I have to say about that. I mean, just the taking the sack at the end of the half had me like screaming at my TV.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that. There's really no other way to describe that. He's a veteran quarterback. He's not a rookie. He's been in New England for 3 stints. Was the backup to Brady. Like, you just can't do that.
Yeah, the thing that's like frustrating too is, well, not unexpectedly because he's 0-11, but now in all his starts, but that he, in that position, you just think like, okay, here's your shot, man. Like, just like don't mess it up. And he was terrible. He had a couple nice throws a couple of times, but most of his throws were either too high. He got lucky on a couple catches that bounce off other receivers, and then he got at the end of the game not so lucky with actually that wasn't him, that was Stiddy, but anyway, he just doesn't seem to have very good command of the game in general. And then of course that going into half and limiting the Chiefs to 6 points and then not being able to just tie the game at the end there is absolutely crazy. I almost wish they would have just like ran the ball, which would have made me mad, but at the same time, like at least they would get the but I guess in that position, you're looking to the end zone, you're looking to try to stop the clock. It's pretty crazy that's the way that the half ended there. Josh, did you see anything from the game?
I saw bits and pieces of the game. I'm just that Patriots team is completely different without Cam in there, and between the two, like Hoyer. I thought he was like not on the team anymore. I was surprised to see him still there. I was like, wow, he's still starting. Okay,
Yeah.
And I mean, but the Chiefs are also on a whole other level. You know what I mean? I don't think even if with Cam there, I think they would have had a tough time pulling out the victory anyway.
Well, that's where Whit and I actually were on the same page. If Cam was there, they would have won that game. Agreed.
You think so?
Agreed, Whit?
Yeah,
I don't
Mahomes
know.
had his worst game of the year.
It was.
Sorry, he did.
This-
He could not do anything in the first half and got lucky, actually, that not only the interception was dropped by McCourty on the third play of the game, but the fumble that was never called, or the interception, or whatever the hell you want to call that the refs completely blew and ignored. That should have gotten called. And, I mean, that's, 3 points off the board on the first missed turnover. And who knows what would have happened on the fumble, interception, whatever that you want to call that. In fact, I think that was the drive before Hoyer's final drive, which, by the way, he ended up fumbling, which drove me absolutely nuts.
Yeah, this is the third game in a row that the Patriots have played the Chiefs and held Mahomes without a touchdown in the first half. That's the thing that you have to do against him, is basically like control as much of the scoring as you can. They're going to score. Like, it's just a matter of time that they're going to score. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent on the team, obviously, but the fact that they held them to 6 points in the first half, I mean, like, was amazing that we were even still in that game at that period in time. I mean, really, before the Edelman interception, bobble, interception whole thing, before that all happened, they were in a position to win that game. Now, do I think that they would have done it even with the interception? No, I think Mahomes would have came back down and would have won the game at the end or something like that. Like it would have been a closer game, but in the end, Mahomes would have won. But with Cam Newton, with that defense, they're beating Kansas City.
Nah.
How can you say so? Like, look at the end score. Like, I mean, sometimes like scores are deceiving. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that garbage catch by Edelman that ended up with Honey Badger there picking him off in pick 6. Like that. If that doesn't happen, bro. No, that's I know football, bro. It's football. It's football. But if you look at the other plays too, like with what Whitney's saying, the fumble, I'm more on the side of calling it a fumble, but the fumble interception thing that happened with Mahomes, if he runs that back for a touchdown, I mean, it's a completely different game. The way that the Patriots were able to use their defense, I mean, I don't know why Mahomes wasn't running out more. It was kind of crazy because they're only rushing with 3 guys most of the game, you know. So he really had room to run, and he did run at some times. I also didn't like the antics by Mahomes a little bit. It's the first game that I really saw him do stuff like this that I wasn't happy with. Like you saw on the, it's not a roughing the passer, I guess it is. It's like a out of bounds late hit that Wise had on him that he just kind of tugged on the back of his jersey and they made, you know, it's a 15-yard penalty. I mean, come on. And then another time McCourty's like chasing him out of bounds and Mahomes is standing like 2 inches before going out and McCourty hits him still inbounds. He goes, whoa, 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 like looking for a flag. It's like, if you're going to start playing that game, like obviously, you know, you're in trouble against the Patriots if you start playing that game.
Desperation.
But but would you think that he needs it?
No, well,
go
ahead, Whit. No, go ahead, Whit.
I was gonna say it's an out of character thing. You know, for him, he's normally a pretty level-headed person.
Yeah,
I think it's more of a competitive spirit type thing. I didn't notice it, but you know, now that you pointed out, I think really just it's in the heat of the moment, you know, you do some things that are out of character, and it's not the worst thing someone's ever done.
Yeah.
In reaction to a hit like that, so
I just don't like kind of like the baby antics to try to get yards. That's the only thing. Like I you know, like Brady got calls for years and one of my friends was texting me during the game and he said basically like, oh, now we know how everybody else felt when Brady would get all these calls because Mahomes is getting all the calls. But yeah, I mean, they're going to protect quarterbacks and especially the highest paid quarterback in the league. I guess you got to protect him, but I don't know. I thought the Patriots did a great job of limiting those receivers. Kelsey had his way a little bit, but you're going to let the tight end kind of get his passes when you got Hill on the other side. You got Sammy Watkins playing out of his mind too. So I think that you got to take what you can get anyway. I'm excited for the rematch, see what happens when Cam's back on the field. Interestingly enough, Cam could be back for the Denver game this week. I don't think that they'll end up doing that. I think that they'll just end up hopefully just playing Stidham the whole game and giving the guy a shot. But if Cam gets 2 negative tests, then he could, by league rules, be back. No word on that yet, though, as far as the test results come back or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. NBA Finals looked like basically what I called with the gentleman's blowout. Although now it's it's a little bit more interesting to see the way that the Heat beat the Lakers, and especially LeBron's reaction to the Lakers losing, walking off the court with a couple seconds left. I think people obviously are going to blow it out of proportion because it's LeBron, because you know
they already did, of course. Oh my God. I woke up to that and it was like, sore loser is the worst.
He does that all the time.
The GOAT talk.
Yeah.
MJ never did that. Come on.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's garbage time. It doesn't matter. I always hate that at end of basketball games anyway. It's like, all right, like the game's over, okay. Like,
Yeah.
and in the betting world, it's absolutely infuriating when you're down by 1 point and they just dribble out the ball and they won't score or whatever. So
Like,
it becomes a whole
fucking score!
Yeah, just
Shoot the ball, please,
throw up.
God.
And sometimes they do. That's the crazy part. Sometimes guys just don't care and they'll go up for the layup and they'll be up by 20 points and it's a lot different. But not in this case. LeBron walks off the court. A little bit interesting of a scenario there, but again, blown out of proportion. But because it's LeBron, it's going to happen. Jimmy Butler played out of his mind. Amazingly, I think he had like 40 something points. Had the triple double. Basically said at the end of the game that he didn't care about it. A little controversy between him and LeBron, but apparently that they've been talking, well about each other, saying that they like playing against each other. I don't know who wouldn't like trying to beat LeBron. That's kind of an obvious statement from his side, but getting it from LeBron saying that Jimmy Butler, is great competition is kind of, high praise for Jimmy Butler. And if they don't make a miraculous comeback, then at least he has that. But a little bit of jawing back and forth, a little bit in the first quarter, I guess. LeBron said something to Jimmy Butler, like, you guys are in trouble now or whatever. And then Jimmy Butler, when
at the end,
at the end,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. So a little bit back and forth. I like the gamesmanship. I like that back and forth. Pretty cool.
Well, yeah. You gotta I guess for LeBron, both of them, you gotta keep, it's just the little things. You gotta keep yourself motivated, give yourself that edge, just talking, get yourself going and talk a little trash. And
did you see? Do you have the score now? What?
I can pull it up.
Okay.
I didn't realize Andre Iguodala was on the Heat until I saw his face.
Well, he hasn't been playing. He was injured, but yeah, he can't.
He was just in this game.
Yeah,
I think scored a big basket. So, when the score pops up, I'll let you know. But it's. I think the Heat have this they feel disrespected mentality because you've got LeBron, AD, who have made a lot of teams look bad in the bubble. And they feel like they need to prove themselves. And so as the underdog, that you need all the motivation you can get.
Yeah.
On top of a lot of scoring, obviously. And unfortunately, AD and LeBron had their number the first two games. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out.
They definitely are in trouble if they can't, have the mentality to just put the Heat away in this game. If the Heat come back, we're talking about a whole different series if it gets tied here, obviously, 2-2. So they also just seem to, the Lakers in general just seem to be throwing up way too many threes. In game one, they were hitting threes like crazy. So they carried that on to game two and then weren't able to hit the three ball and then basically were missing a lot of their other shots too. So once you stop losing that momentum and you're not, focused on the basics of LeBron passing to AD, the, dynamics there, and then giving the outside shot, it's, it becomes a dangerous thing for the Heat to come back and tie this up 2-2. So we'll see what goes on that. Hey, Josh, how about the first place Eagles? Oh, what you got?
I do have a score update. 33-29 Miami. I think they're taking a technical free throw at the moment. Okay, 34-29.
So pretty
Lakers
close.
only have 2 points in the second quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty close, though. Still a close game. Yeah, we'll let Josh celebrate a little bit with his first place Eags.
Hilarious. It's the funniest thing ever. Just when I was watching that Cowboys game, and then when it was true that it was evident that they were going to lose, and they started talking how now if the Eagles win, they're going to be in first place, and it's that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That tie helps them. I really think that 6 wins could win the division, but Man, it could. You know what I mean? The Eagles could win the division like 6-9-1 and then have like post a playoff game.
Yeah,
Fucking hysterical.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be hysterical.
But two big surprises of the weekend were the Eagles game for me and Cleveland Cowboys. I mean, like I don't get how that happened. Like I don't know. It's crazy. It's not only crazy that the Cowboys lost to them. It's just crazy how many points that Cleveland was able to score on that defense. Like it's just absolutely nuts that happened. But yeah, good for the Eagles, I guess. I mean,
you guess? What do you mean you guess?
Well, they don't have much competition. If they're in any other division, they're in last place.
Oh yeah, they're trash. Yeah, right now.
They're not.
I know.
You know,
thank God they are where they are.
There's no way you were watching that game and being like, yeah, like oh, here we go. Like
it was bad to watch. It was pretty bad to watch. But I mean, like the most experienced like wide receiver the Eagles have right now is Greg Ward, man. Like everyone, it's a practice squad. Like their whole line is everyone's hurt.
This is like their story, though. This is their mantra. Like every year, it just seems like they have all this talent at the beginning of the year. Everyone's healthy. Everybody's ready to go. Deshaun Jackson's back, and he's going to be better than ever. And then
he was going to be hurt. I knew he was going to be hurt immediately.
And then everybody just gets hurt. Everybody gets hurt.
Immediately got hurt. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Who else do they have? Who else? I mean,
who else is what? You mean why? Like they have Alshon's out.
Yeah, they got Alshon. Yeah, but other than that, I mean,
they have
like that. They have Rager, that rookie, then the second year guy, that Whiteside, Arcega, whatever. Arcega Whiteside. That's it.
Miles Sanders was injured for a little bit.
Yeah, well, he played okay in that game though, but yeah, he was banged up too.
Boston Scott, I like him the best just because of his name, of course.
Yeah.
Boston, you love it.
Yep.
I mean, they beat a team they were supposed to. You know, the Niners had. I mean, speaking of injury issues, the Niners have
they're just as fucked up
for you. Yeah. I mean, what, 8 starters that were out or something like that?
Which also just proves how bad the Giants are when you really think about it. Because the Niners the week before played the Giants and like blew them out of the water with nobody on their team, basically like the replacements on their team, and still scored like 50 points or something against them. Like I don't know. It's absolutely crazy that I thought that because of that game versus the Giants, I'm like, okay, well, you'd still probably expect that it's going to be a tougher game for the Eagles, and somehow they pulled it out. I mean, they won, especially that, the interception at the end, everything. I mean, like they deserve the win. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the Cowboys. Never mind.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have a tough stretch coming up. They got Baltimore, they got Pittsburgh in there. It's going to be a tough.
But it won't matter, right? Like as long as everyone else just sucks, as long as the other teams can't get wins, that they could just
that's right,
squeak by at the end of the year and just get six wins and end up somehow. I mean, I don't think any team that has a losing record should be in the playoffs. In general, I don't think any team that is, below 500 should be in the playoffs. And it just because of the way the league is set up, it just happens. Every once in a while, you get a terrible team or a terrible overall division, and this is what happens. But kind of interesting story. Bill O'Brien being fired from the Texans.
Yeah, quick. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, what's kind of running joke between me and Whitney is about Gase. So it's kind of funny seeing like Bill O'Brien getting fired before the Jets head coach, just because you would think like based on like the I guess pedigree of having Bill O'Brien and the amount that he has done for the Texans, it's kind of interesting to see that he would be fired so quickly. But I guess that's the risk that you put, maybe ownership just said to him, hey, listen, you want to be the GM, you want to be the head coach, you want all this responsibility. Well, you're also taking a lot of risks too, right? So you trade away the best player on their team.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he rolled the dice and he lost, man. And the ownership was like, I bet ownership was so pissed when he did that. He's like, and you got him for who?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then,
And you just like you're basically like just putting all your eggs in one basket and like saying like, oh, like he's gonna want so much money, which he did get. He got paid. He definitely did get his money. But I mean, you still gotta. And not only that, they have the highest payroll.
the Texans?
Texans have the highest payroll.
Wow, that's surprising.
That is very surprising.
Still, they have the highest payroll. So if you think about,
How? Who do they have? Deshaun and J.J. Watt.
yep.
Who else
Well,
is
right
the
there
other-
is pretty much like, I mean, Deshaun just got a big contract.
Merciless? What about Merciless? Is he still on the
Well,
squad?
what has he been doing this year? Because like all the highlights I've watched, it's I've seen J.J. Watt occasionally, but like what other pass rusher has actually done anything significant this year for them?
JJ Watt
especially in
gets
big
in
plays.
there.
Yeah, I mean J.J. Watt's going to do what he does, but like
He's gonna get hurt soon, like next week or something. He's gonna get hurt again. He's always hurt. That's what sucks.
yeah, no, it's
Right?
unfortunate because he's really good too.
Yeah, he's amazing, but he always
Yeah.
gets fucking hurt. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I'm trying
Terrible. And that defense
and-
when they had like him and Clowney and
but they didn't have a secondary.
right.
Actually, they still don't. But
Yeah.
Bradley Roby and who else?
I don't even know.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know.
So maybe he didn't. Maybe they don't. I heard maybe it was in the division. I don't know, but I'm looking
But
at
just-
this now. It looks like Cleveland does.
I was actually going to say something about Cleveland too. How the heck do you blow a 41-14 lead in the fourth quarter? Like, can someone explain that
It's
to me?
crazy.
To Dallas of all people, like you have a 41-14 lead, and then how the game ended with that blocked extra point that ended up being a 2-point conversion.
They're
Because
definitely
it's almost into the end
they're
zone.
definitely a second half team. That's for sure. Like they can come back on team, but they gotta. The thing that they haven't been doing, which is crazy, is they just gotta hand the ball off more to Zeke, and they're just not using him. Like it's just like it's nuts to me. Like I don't know if it's because they got they think they have like the best receiving core now, and before the season I just kept on hearing about how good and Lamb is good, and you got Amari Cooper. Like they're definitely strong receivers, but I mean you got one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league.
He's trash. Nah,
Wow.
he's good.
But
Nah,
but
he's
I don't
good.
know
He's
how
good.
you don't just hand him the ball. And anyway, I can't really get a definitive answer if the text, but I know their money is up there. But I'll retract my statement for now. Before
It's
this,
crazy. I'm just trying to think who else. I mean, I would think like the Rams would have a really high payroll.
yeah.
Well,
Or
especially
like-
with what they paid for Jalen Ramsey,
Yeah, with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and
Jared Goff.
Goff too, right? They got rid of Gurley's. I mean, are they still paying Gurley?
That's a good question.
Maybe.
I mean, are they still paying or some of it? Maybe I don't know. He looks like he's like kind of healthy again. He had a couple good runs. The poor Falcons, man. Oh my god, what
They
the
can't.
hell?
They can't get catch a
They
break
got
at
the
all.
yips. The whole team has the yips, man.
Their whole
I think
secondary is
fucking
on
Matt
IR.
Ryan has the yips. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Their secondary is like a bunch of preschool kids out there playing.
Yeah.
Don't know what the hell's going on. It looks like.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
man.
so. The
Speaking
Texans
of-
aren't that high. They actually, the Browns, the Jets, Washington, they have. Oh no, this is cap space. So yeah, they are pretty high. They're like towards the top. They might be the highest in their division. I don't know. So anyway,
I was gonna say if there's a coach that needs to be fired, it's Dan Quinn too, because
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
they just
He's next to go.
Yeah, well, him and Gase need to
Him and Gase,
go
yeah,
next
him and
week if they
Gase.
don't win.
yeah. See, like I just think that the Jets are like so bad overall that it might save him. Like the rest of the team is just so bad that like they'll be like, well, we can't just like hire a new head coach every single year. We're gonna just have to like run with what we got and just and just like give it a shot and whatever. I
They
don't
need
know.
a new GM. They need a new everything. They need a new owner. Like ever since that guy bought the team, they got a.
The funny
What's
thing
his
is,
name?
like
Woody.
for the Texans, they can't even tank because if they tank, they already traded away their picks. So like
So
they're gonna
stupid.
have like nobody. Like you know
So
what I mean?
stupid.
So
Oh my
like they
god.
can't even just like they can't even be bad at this point. They just have to kind of be mediocre, which is hilarious when you really think about it. They're 0-4 and the Eagles have one win, and somehow like
Yeah, man.
like it's such a messed up year for football. And then you have a ton of teams that are still undefeated, 4-0,
Yep.
which is pretty nuts to have. All right, talk a little bit about the MLB postseason. Something occurred to me today that was very disturbing, but I realized that because of my hatred for the Astros this year, and in general, they're probably my second most hated team, that I'll actually end up having to root for the Yankees if the Yankees beat the Rays, which is just like, and if the Astros beat the A's right now, which they're up 2 games in their series, then I'm actually going to have to end up rooting for the Yankees against the Astros, which is just mind blowing that I'd actually have to do that. But the only thing you can hope is that the Dodgers or somebody else actually comes out and is able to still win in the World Series. But yeah,
It'd be crazy if the Astros won again. That would be hilarious.
If the Astros win, like I said, this win, because they were limping into the postseason anyway. They were only like, I don't even know if they were barely over 500. They must have been the Astros when they got into the postseason. So for them to come and win, and especially like, you hear interviews with them after the game, and they're saying things like, "Oh yeah, we don't care about stats. It's just important to who wins." Yeah, you don't care about stats because you cheated last year and you had 300 average, and now you suck because you're not cheating, and you don't care about stats because you're not. They're still hitting the ball pretty well right now, which is pretty crazy. The A's just can't seem to. I mean, I'm happy for the A's. They won a postseason game. They made it into the next round, but they got
Billy Beane.
Yeah, I just really wish Billy Beane would be able to get this team a little bit more motivated to win the game, to win this series. But it's looking like the Astros are gonna be able to take control over it, and the Rays have a better chance than the A's at this point. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean the Astros' biggest surprise for me is their pitching, because without Cole, without Verlander,
yeah,
the fact that they've even made it this far. I mean, okay, Greinke's good. I'm not going to try to downplay him, but everybody else was like coming into this, and their record wasn't that great either. So it's like, no, this is a little shocking to have them go this far. But by the way, Tampa is winning 5-4 in the 5th.
Not bad.
But yeah, just their pitching is the biggest surprise, because I mean their hitters, yeah, they had a bad season. Yes, they cheated, but obviously they're still at least decent. So that's not a surprise, but I know Oakland and Minnesota haven't been up to par so far.
A little bit of news for the Red Sox this week, whether you buy into it or not, but Trevor Bauer tweeted out a picture of a plane ticket to Boston with his name on it, and basically saying, I think his exact words are "Red Sox, you up," which was funny because he basically doesn't understand how time works, because it was like the middle of the afternoon when he tweeted this out. But basically insinuating that there might be an opportunity for him to come to the Red Sox.
And bang the Red Sox,
which is interesting because he because of the trade rules and everything, the Red Sox aren't even really allowed to talk to him. But besides that, Trevor Bauer he has almost like his own platform that he releases content on. So pretty much he just wants to get a little bit, this is his time in his career to make a little noise about himself personally. So he's basically just like, playing the game and getting some content out of it and everything like that. And he can get, a lot of website clicks because he's making headlines. So what do you think about it, Whit?
I mean, it's great if we have another pretty good pitcher in our rotation.
Yeah.
With potentially Sale. I'm not sure when his timeline is exactly, but if he's healthy next year, whenever he does get healthy from his Tommy John surgery.
Sale's been pitching. He should be good to go next year. He's been practicing and at least trying, so he should be good to go.
The problem I have with the pitching staff, though, is the bullpen, and it has been for 2 years.
Right.
Their bullpen we need more consistent arms. We need a closer, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And who else outside of Sale and Bauer, if he's coming to Boston, in the rotation are we going to rely on? Because Erod, who knows what's going to happen with him? Hopefully
health-wise and everything.
He recovers, but he may not play potentially again with the condition that he has. So obviously, health is more important than anything else. To say it the obvious, but we need somebody else in that rotation.
Yeah, I would love to see them get one other ace and then put Sale as a closer again. I would love to see that. I would just,
my God, that'd be crazy.
That's how he started off his career, and I just think that that would be awesome to make that movie. It would play into more of the Heim Bloom, statistics and everything like that. Everyone would think he's a genius, and discount him at first and then think he was a genius later. The amount of money that you're paying Sale doesn't really equate to him being a closer instead of a starting pitcher, but you never know what kind of pitcher is going to come out of Tommy John surgery. So that could be a huge factor depending on what happens there. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on. Tampa Bay Bucks versus Chicago Bears is the next game closest to us. So let's talk a little bit about it. Nick Foles.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh? You're actually kind of like a hybrid Eagles Bears fan almost. So
to an extent.
What are you thinking about it?
I mean, I've always said since I lived there and got to really know that team, that's where quarterbacks go to die. Chicago, even when Jay Cutler is your greatest franchise quarterback, that's saying something, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty bad. So, but I mean, Nick Foles, I think he's only good in Philly. There's just some comfort level that he has, with the Andy Reid coaching tree, that he's not going to get. Even though, as I say that, I just remember Nagy's there, so maybe that is a good thing that he's there.
Yeah.
He had a shitty game. This game, he had some overthrows in this game. In that game,
do you think it's a mental thing with him that it's just this whole thing? He could be good if he was amazing coming in the fourth quarter and not being the starter. But do you think that when he has the whole game on the line, that it's just a mental mishap with him that he just can't get over in his mind?
I guess. I mean, he's proven that he could do it. Obviously, on the biggest stage and with the brightest lights, he can do it. But it's if he's not wearing that green, he seems to have a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, but he still did okay. He was still, when they put him in. I mean, obviously, you can't go back to Trubisky. I don't think that anybody is begging that he comes back. But I have been hearing a lot of talk about that this Thursday night game will kind of define his fate. If he can't prove himself in this game, they are going to go back to Trubisky, and it's just, and then you got a whole nother.
Man. You can't flip flop like that so easy. You gave, really? That I think that's crazy. If he plays like crap, and they lose, that's one thing. But if he plays well and then somehow the defense screws it up or something, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I mean, I hope that that's not what they do, because that's just not good for anybody. Just flip flopping back and forth. You know,
I mean that defense is good enough to keep a team within 2 scores or 1 score for the whole game, and then you never know what happens in the fourth quarter,
Right.
But Foles in general, it just seems like when he gets the starting job, everybody knows the Eagles, when he was in the Super Bowl, there was he was obviously the underdog in that game. and
Oh, yeah.
they thrived on it too. So
Right.
if he's ever going into a situation, I think where he's like ahead, it's just some mental block or switch, like what Whitney's saying. It's just something in him that he just can't get over. Anyway, what'd you think of Tom Brady last game, Whitney? Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, I mean his pick six was obviously bad, but I mean, you can't feel safe with a 20-point lead against him.
Yeah.
Whether it's Belichick, whether it's Arians, whatever. I mean, you have a turnover, you're up 24-7, and you turn the ball over inside your own 5-yard line. That was the basically the change or the game, the play that changed the game right before halftime. And you basically gave Brady an opening to do what he does. And that's with a limping Mike Evans, Howard out at tight end, no Chris Godwin, and you let that happen. I mean, the Chargers are a mess. I said that in a text with you.
Chargers almost beat the Chiefs, by the way.
Yeah, but they also blew a double-digit lead there too.
Sure.
Which they're turning into the Falcons of the West the way they're playing right now.
Although the difference is that the Falcons have their starting QB and a veteran QB, and the Chargers got this rookie who's actually not bad. Yeah, I can't.
This is why I'm
for the life of me, I can't think of what his name is right now. But
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert. Okay, I knew it.
I'm giving them a little bit of leeway, but at the same time, they've had this issue of underachieving for years.
Yeah,
the Chargers, whether they were in LA or San Diego.
Well, they've been plagued by the injury bug a little bit here too. Their secondary's been banged up, and now they got the running back there, Eckler. He's going to be out, so it's the next man up mentality. A lot of teams just don't have the depth in order to do this. Interesting in the Patriots game to see Harris use more than Rex Burkhead. I think Harris ended up with over 100 yards, and he was basically on IR and promoted to a starting job. So. Although the Patriots are kind of like that, they'll throw in, they never really have a set running back per se. Even Sony Michel, they kind of, even though he was their lead running back, they mixed him around. So who is also on the IR now. So they can't really seem to get it right in that position. But anyway, back to the Tampa Bay Bucks. We'll see how Brady fares against a little bit tougher of a defense there, I think, with the Bears. And we'll see on Thursday night. He thrives in these games. It's funny how much my feelings towards him have changed more. I just think he's like a completely different guy. It's just weird watching him. It's like, in Spider-Man when he like turns into that weird Spider-Man, it's just like he just seems like a different guy. The Tobey Maguire and then like this weird emo one. It just seems different. We'll see what happens, but
wait till they wear those creamsicles. Ooh, it's gonna look good in those creamsicles.
Wait, are those uniforms still around for them?
I mean,
I thought they changed them.
They did, but don't they do a throwback every once in a while? They have to. They have to. So just so they can sell the Brady.
Is the game in Tampa or in Chicago?
That I do not know.
I think it's in Chicago.
Okay, so it's gonna be a road color rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were all red last time.
Well, home field advantage doesn't mean much these days. But
yeah, it's true.
The weather isn't enough cold yet. I mean, I don't know what the weather is like in Chicago right now, but it doesn't seem like it's late enough in the season yet to be that cold. So, I mean, although Brady is retired in Florida right now, like most of New England people just go down to Florida to retire. So it's kind of interesting whole thing. Anyway, let's play our game before we run out of time here. We're going to play our game. Josh was the victor last week. We were talking about our boom or bust trivia game, Cruel Fan Sports, our boom or bust game sponsored by Ice Shaker. So Josh will be getting one of these bad boys in the mail. So let's play. This is based on the Thursday night games. So before this episode is up, actually, we won't have the last week. I did all the points live in the episode when editing. So this week you'll have to wait till after the game, or maybe you can just jot down the teams while you're watching and see who does better, Josh or Whit. Anyway, let's play Bears versus Bucks, Boomer Bus. Cruel Fans Sports Trivia, sponsored by Ice Shaker. Check out Ice Shaker with the link in the description. 26-ounce double wall vacuum insulated bottle. Lasts for about 30 hours with ice in it to keep your drink cool. A little product placement there for you. So check out that link in the description. Go to iceshaker.com. All right. So I believe last week we started with Josh. So this week we'll start with Whitney. Okay, Whitney, are you ready? Because you had a little bit of a rough going last week.
All right, let's
You-
do it.
You had one player that actually got negative points for the week.
Yeah.
Which was pretty crazy. Anyway, all right. Did Tom Brady have over 370 passing yards week 4? Yes or no?
Yes. Final answer.
Okay. Final answer is incorrect. He had 369 passing yards, which is under
Wow.
370.
Wow.
Just one more yard, and Brady could have gotten you the win. So,
It's
because
cold-blooded.
of that, would you like Bears defense or Bucks defense?
Ooh.
Bucks defense, definitely.
Okay, good choice. See, that wasn't that bad of a blow to the first one here.
It's also
Okay.
the easiest choice.
Yeah. All right, Josh, has Nick Foles thrown more than 2 interceptions this year?
No.
That's correct. Nick Foles has only thrown 2 interceptions this year.
Yeah. That's all he's going to throw. That's all he's going to throw.
So, saying that,
Oh.
would you like Tom Brady or Nick Foles?
Oh, boy. I mean,
Carefully.
Or you can have Bears defense if you want that instead.
I'll take Tommy. Why not? I'll take
All right.
Tommy. Give me
Good
Tommy.
choice.
Okay.
I should have took Foles.
That would have been a really poor choice.
It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing.
All right. Whitney, or actually, no, this is the Josh first. Who had more receiving yards week 3? Allen Robinson or Mike Evans? Week 3 in the NFL, who had more receiving yards? Allen Robinson or Mike Evans?
Week 3. So 2 weeks ago?
Yep, 2 weeks ago.
I think Robinson did.
Is that what you're going with?
Yes.
Okay, yes, that is correct. Allen
Yes!
Robinson had 123 yards. Mike Evans had 2 yards.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have Evans on my team, but he had like 2 touchdowns, though,
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah, he had 2
Yeah.
He had
touchdowns.
2
That's a
1-yard touchdowns.
nice little bonus point for you, even though that didn't matter. But yeah, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns is pretty crazy.
Hilarious.
Crazy stat line. So, Josh, you have the choice between Allen Robinson or Mike Evans.
Ooh.
Now,
Robinson's kind of hot.
here's something interesting to keep in mind. Mike Evans also has an injury
Right.
currently,
I'll-
foot issue.
Right. I'll go Allen Robinson.
Okay.
Penn State, man, I think. He went to Penn State.
Well, that could be a question later, so I can't reveal.
Oh, all right.
It's not, but I don't know if he went to Penn State.
I think he did.
All right. So, Whitney, you kind of
Yeah.
benefit from this, but who had more touchdowns week 3? Mike Evans or Allen Robinson?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is correct. So you have the
Oh,
choice
yeah.
of Mike. You want Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, is that his name?
Brate.
Brate,
Great.
and Darnell Mooney. Those are your choices.
What was the first one?
Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans.
Okay. All right. So big pick for Whitney. As long as Evans stays healthy. If not, then you're out of luck there.
But I
Well-
hope so, man.
Yeah, the other problem with the other two is that I think Worley's pretty decent, but he's not their top receiver. He's plays for the Bears, right?
Mooney had
Mooney, yeah,
50,
sorry.
50 yards last game. I think he's a I believe he plays for Tampa Bay.
Brait plays for Tampa,
Yeah,
right?
Brait plays for
Oh,
Tampa.
okay. All right. So I have him mixed up. Yeah. Okay.
And he's going to
And
start because OJ Howard's out for the year, so he's going to get a lot of targets, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Okay. We'll see if that pays off or doesn't pay off, or if that booms, or if that busts.
Oh, I see what you did.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we're on a roll now.
Wow.
We are on a roll now. Okay, so this first question goes to Whitney. Whitney, who was born in Georgia? Ronald Jones or David Montgomery? Who was born in Georgia? Ronald Jones or David Montgomery?
Jones.
Jones is correct. Ronald Jones was born in
That
Georgia.
was a total guess.
Did you know that?
50-50 shot?
Total guess.
Okay.
I would have said Montgomery. So, oof.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Georgia name, Montgomery.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
who would you like, Ronald Jones or David Montgomery? Or you have the choice of also getting Fournette or Ryan Nall. Those are your other two choices.
Is Fournette? He didn't play last game, did he?
I think
Or
he
am I
still
thinking of
played.
somebody else?
He still played, but Ronald Jones is kind of the starter now, or that's how they showed it last week.
Okay.
So it's kind of also a
Um,
gamble. David Montgomery is safe as a starter, I guess.
Yeah. And all right. What are my choices again? Ronald Jones. I mean, not Ronald Jones.
Yep. Ronald
Yeah,
Jones,
Ronald Jones.
David Montgomery, Fournette, or Ryan Nall, who is the backup for Montgomery. Now that
I'm gonna go with
Tyreek.
Jones just because he's probably gonna get the majority of the carries.
Okay. Okay, Josh. Where did David Montgomery go to school?
Oh, shit.
Your choices are, which you had luck with this question last week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cal, Iowa State, or Texas Tech?
What was that first one? Cal?
Yeah, Cal, Texas Tech, Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State is correct.
Oh, yes.
So
I never
you,
guessed.
I was like, what was the smallest school? That's probably the smallest school.
so you have the choice of David Montgomery, Fournette, or Ryan Nall.
Montgomery, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fournette's all banged up, man. He's not playing.
Okay.
He had that big, didn't he like that big game like in the first week?
Yeah, because he got lucky at the end of the game. He had like a long run touchdown.
Yeah.
So he had a big. I think it was week 2, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. One or
Anyway.
two, first or second game, whatever. Yeah.
All right, Whitney. Who is worth more, Gronk, who has more money, basically,
Yeah.
Gronk or Jimmy Graham?
Gronk.
Gronk is correct. So
There you go.
Gronk is the net worth about 40 million, and Jimmy Graham has a net worth about 12 million. It wasn't as close as what I thought it was. I thought maybe some of Jimmy Graham's earlier years he would have been a little bit more smart with his money. Anyway, would you like Gronk, Jimmy Graham, or Bears kicker or Bucks kicker? Right now, I think the Bears kicker is kind of questionable. I think that there might be some injuries there, so that's why.
Double doink.
Yeah.
Double
Well,
doink.
there's also Tampa's kicker, and they just seem to have bad luck with kickers there. So definitely not kickers.
Okay.
Gronk. I mean,
Okay.
sorry, Jimmy Graham.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot Gronk's not his normal self.
Yeah, it's not the same Gronk. Okay, Josh, for the last question in the game, who is taller, Gronk or Jimmy Graham?
Gronk
Gronk
by
is
an
short.
inch.
Gronk is shorter by an inch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gronk is 6'6", and Jimmy Graham is 6'7".
Oh,
So-
I thought Gronk was 6'7".
So, which kicker would you like?
Kyle Forbath. Is he on the list?
Well, I think is that the. No, I don't think he is.
I was looking at that name just popped into my head.
Isn't he?
Give me
Isn't he the
He's something.
Falcons kicker?
maybe. That's
Four back.
hilarious.
I don't remember.
I thought it was
Anyway,
cool or something.
give me
yeah,
the
that's
Buck-
true. Cool. Yeah.
Give me the Bucks kicker,
Okay, Bucks kicker.
whoever that is. Grammatica.
Yeah, something.
Remember when he ripped his knee open by celebrating? You remember that? You remember that one?
That was
The
something.
Grammatica brothers. That was hilarious back in the day.
All right, so that concludes Boomer Bus Cruel Fans Sports game, sponsored by Ice Shaker. Check out the link in the description. Here are the teams. Josh, you have Tom Brady, Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, and the Bucks kicker. And
Disrespect. The disrespect.
this is actually going to be closer of a game than last week. Whitney, you have Bucks defense, Mike Evans, who could get you 2 touchdowns, as we've seen. Ronald Jones,
Yep.
and Jimmy Graham. So it's going to be a little bit of a closer game. I would say that Josh has the edge on overall yards, but Whitney has the touchdown factor because you got Jimmy Graham, Mike Evans. You got guys there that can just get the. I still can't believe 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty amazing stat.
That's 3 points right there.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it for week 5. Planning the NFL going into week 5 of the NFL. Any other matchups this weekend that will be interesting to you?
I mean, they're all kind of good. This is week 5, so we kind of know where the teams are and stuff.
It'll be interesting to see what the Patriots do with their quarterback situation, who they go with. Eagles, of course, looking for their 2nd win of the season, so it'll be interesting to see if they can come up with that.
We see how the Texans end up with Romeo Crennel at the helm.
They almost have to get a win. Just by odds, I would think that because they do have a good team. It's just that, they have good parts of a team. I don't know that they have a good complete team. And then who the hell knows what Odell's going to do in Cleveland? He's been on fire and kind of amazing story this year. So we'll see. Or he's kind of off and on, but amazing that the Browns are beating the Cowboys. I'll put it that way. In week 4, I'm very surprised that's a thing that's happening. But it's got to be. I don't know who's worse off, the Cowboys being a Cowboys fan or being an Eagles fan right now.
Whoa. I think. Well, I mean, from my news feeds, it's like being an Eagles fan, but I don't know. I mean. Probably a Cowboys fan because they're a better team than the Eagles.
They have good talent.
1-3.
Yeah.
And they hired a new coach too.
Yeah.
McCarthy is supposed to be the end-all fix-all of their clapping issues that they had.
Yeah, but now he's in New York and they're 0-4. It's hilarious. But then they lost Barkley and stuff, so I don't know. It's hilarious. Yeah.
I think the Colts Browns matchup is going to be
it should be a good
interesting one too. But it's one thing to beat the Cowboys, but you're actually facing a better defense than the Colts. You're facing, I think, a more disciplined offense. They can play for. I'm not saying talent wise they're the same because obviously Dallas has a lot of good receivers. They have Zeke, but they're more consistent, or they've shown to be more consistent this year than Dallas has. So we'll see.
As Bill Belichick says, we'll see right after Thanksgiving how the league's going to play out, right? That's the turning point in the league. Right after Thanksgiving, once you see those games and you have a whole nice day of just sitting down, watching football, eating turkey, everything like that, you wind up figuring out what kind of football team you're going to be for the rest of the year and who's going to Chiefs, they have enough momentum that they'll probably still be able to carry that into the rest of the year. So we will see, but I'm excited to see what the Patriots can do with Cam Newton back. Anyway, Josh, why don't you run us out of here? into
All right.
week 5.
Well, thank you so much. So for Whitney, Josh, and Ryan, this has been the Cruel Fan Sports Hour brought to
Yeah.
you by Ice Shaker. Check them out, iceshaker.com. And I'll be waiting for mine in the mail so I can put a whole
Yeah.
lot of ice in it and have it the next day.
Can't
Can't wait.
for mine next week.
Yeah. All right. Peace out. Yo. Go Lakers.
Go
Woo!
like